Our Master of Social Work and Master of Public Health programs. And we're glad you could join us or that you're able to tune in on our archived video of today's info session. My name is Laura Peer, and I am or that you're able to tune in on our archived video of today's info session. Admissions. My name is Laura Peer, and I am or that you're able to tune in on our archived video of today's info session. Admissions. My name is Laura Peer, and I am or that. That was exciting. Excuse us for that technical glitch. Yeah. It's always exciting here. So my name is Laura Peer. I'm an admissions and recruitment specialist at the Brown School, and I am joined today by Danny Lee, and he just joined us from class, so he's fresh out of class. Yes. He's a current MSW student with advanced standing. We'll talk about what that means in a little bit. Danny, if you could introduce yourself and maybe talk about your areas of interest.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Laura. Like she talked about, I'm a first-year MSW student with advanced standing. My concentration is domestic, social, and economic development with a specialization in policy. My interests are to sort of leverage politics and corporate business to deliver social welfare programs and policies.
Excellent. So a great example of our interdisciplinary opportunities here at the Brown School.
Sure. Yeah.
And so Danny is part of the social work program, but he will also be able to answer any kind of more community cultural questions about the Brown School in general. So please feel free to submit questions as we go. And Danny will be chiming in with his personal experience. So I'm going to show a presentation now. And I'm gonna, that's it. Okay. And here we go. Great. So we always start with our mission statement, and it is a threefold statement. We obviously aim to educate future leaders in social work and public health. And also we have a strong interest in pioneering research and applying the results at all levels and across all sectors, nationally and internationally. And you will hear this a lot throughout our presentation. The Brown School is extremely collaborative. We understand that social issues and health issues don't exist on their own. There are many systems at place and many stakeholders and ways to address a problem. And so our mission is really at the center of all that we do, as you will see. The Brown School offers 3 different graduate programs, the Master of Social Work, the Master of Public Health, and then we offer a 3-year dual degree program. You would get your 2 master's degrees, the MSW and the Mph, in 3 short years instead of 4. And just for a little bit of defining some of our language, the advanced standing, that's what Danny comes to us with. He completed a Bachelor of Social Work in his undergraduate program, and so we'll have a slightly abbreviated time here at the Brown School from 2 years down to 18 months in most cases. So we have that for the social work program. We also offer a 3-2 program in social work and public health, and that is specifically available to current Washington University undergraduates in the Arts and Sciences School. They're able to complete their bachelor's and master's in 5 years. And we also offer PhD programs in both programs. And so the Brown School is one of 7 schools at WashU, and here's an overview of all 7 schools. WashU is a top-ranked university and a global leader in teaching, research, patient care, and service to society. So we do have well-regarded School of Medicine, School of Law, School of Engineering, of course, and Business School, our Arts and Sciences, and Art and Architecture. And we do have some joint and dual degree opportunities within most of these schools as well. We're going to start with a broad overview. A lot of students they have a vague idea that social work or public health is a field that might be relevant to their broad interests and backgrounds and goals. So I want to give a definition here. Social work is a field aimed at improving the overall well-being of populations, especially those that are historically underserved. And at the Brown School, you are able to kind of take a more traditional micro focus, which would be maybe a more clinical approach or one-on-one, working to help people maybe with mental illnesses or other social issues. Or you can explore one of our unique and new career paths in social work. It's a growing field, definitely. And this is just a small selection of some of the areas that our faculty and students are exploring within the Master of Social Work. So for example, or mental health. You could work one-on-one to help someone who's having mental health problems, or you could work on a macro level and do community education and awareness to help improve people's access to mental health services, or to destigmatize the use of mental health services, as an example. And what is public health? The science of protecting and improving the health of communities and populations, particularly in populations where disparities are greatest. And we work through promoting healthy lifestyles, research for disease prevention and detection and control of infectious diseases, as well as policy that promotes healthcare equity and accessibility. So equity and accessibility is a common theme for all of our work at the Brown School. And so a lot of people, it helps to understand public health in the context of medicine and how it's different from a medical degree. So let's talk about gun violence, or the Zika virus. A doctor would treat someone with the Zika virus. A public health professional might might be an epidemiologist that tries to track the origin of the disease, or an educator who tries to educate people about preventing being bitten by mosquitoes. So it's a very wide field that involves a lot of disciplines and approaches. And the Brown School is unique in that we offer social work and public health under one roof. And here's a couple quotes from our faculty, from Veda Saunders-Thompson. And she says, if we as a society have disparities in income and education, we will have disparities in health. People can't begin behind and just miraculously catch up, barring something extraordinary. Through teaching and research, I want to make the extraordinary possible. Those are some inspiring words for one of our faculty here. And then Dr. McKay is new, and she comes from a social work background where a lot of her focus was in the realm of public health. And she says the Brown School provides leadership in social work and public health, two complementary professions aimed at supporting healthy and productive individuals, families, communities, and systems. Studying public health within a school of social work offers our students a distinct advantage, an unparalleled perspective into what it takes to make lasting change. And our students are working all the time and having real impact in the community. We'll see how that takes place. We're going to talk about most of these by the numbers throughout the presentation, but the piece I want to focus on right now is our over 7,600 alumni working in more than 50 countries. So for our students, those 7,628 students, our faculty, alumni, become your network and your kind of your family, your professional family, going forward for the rest of your life. And I know that Brown School alumni are they're very interested, well-connected, and very interested in keeping in touch. And so our faculty are asking important questions. That's where research starts, with a question. And our faculty are doing some amazing research here. And I want to highlight one of our faculty that's doing a really important project that it really exemplifies the intersection of public health and social work. Dr. Jason Purnell started For the Sake of All about 3 years ago. And the first phase looked at identifying data. And one of the results was that a very shocking result in the St. Louis community, that a child born in an area called Clayton, which is a higher income area, will live up to 85 years. But if a child born at the same hospital moves just 9 miles away in a poorer neighborhood, Jeff Vanderloo, their life expectancy is 67 years. So that's 9 miles and 18 years difference. So that was a very startling finding. And the next phase of For the Sake of All was to put together the findings and come up with a plan of action. And they're starting the third phase, which will be now implementing that and finding the results. And if you go to forthesakeofall.org, there's Dr. Purnell. If you go to forthesakeofall.org, you will find a lot of information. It's a really dynamic and informative website that gives a lot of this background and shows exactly how the research was done and what the next steps will be. Great. So, wonderful. And so Dr. Purnell is one of many, the For the Sake of All is one of many Brown School initiatives. This is a list of our 13 research centers just here at the Brown School. And our faculty our leaders of each one is led by faculty. So our faculty are teaching in the classroom and also doing the research work and translating that into action. So we're moving on now to the curriculum. Both the MSW and Mph curriculum is flexible, collaborative, and transdisciplinary. And our faculty are here to really support each student in meeting their unique goals. And right now I'm going to ask Danny to share his experience with faculty here at the Brown School.
Sure, yeah. I think the beauty of graduate school, when I compare it to undergrad, is that faculty and staff treat you as colleagues. And that's so different because in undergrad, I definitely felt this dynamic where it's pupil and teacher. But in grad school, these faculty members are definitely invested into your career just as much as you are. So recently I spoke with Professor Barbara Levin, and she, through probably half an hour, connected me to 3 different leaders in the community in which I grabbed coffee within the past 2 weeks. And each of these members, whether they were community relations managers at corporate companies or a global biochemical company that sort of gave me the perspective of corporate responsibility, all these different community leaders were connected through a faculty member. And Barbara has been amazing in not just providing me connections, but also supporting me in garnering wisdom and advice as to how I should both learn professionally out in the field, but also personally here in the Brown School. So faculty and staff are definitely amazing. And I like to call some of them friends, and it's nice. It's nice that I can do that.
And he's only been here 2 months. So.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So it's a tight community.
It is, for sure.
I'm gonna go back to our presentation now, but we'll hear more from Danny soon. Great, so as I was saying, we have the hallmarks of our curricula are the flexibility, the collaborative nature, and the transdisciplinary nature, and I hope that that is shining throughout the presentation. As I was saying, each student arrives on campus with a unique background and passion for some area of social change and public health, and our faculty really take it upon themselves to help support our students get where they need to go, and Danny exemplified that with his with what he just shared. Sorry about that. Turn ourselves. Sorry, we're a little off here. So this shows our different concentrations of the MSW curriculum and specializations. Our concentrations include this list here. We'll just let you read it. And then we also have an individualized track if your areas of interest don't fit perfectly within one of the existing concentrations. And you will work with your 3 advisors to help make sure you're hitting all of the requirements and getting all the resources that you need. So your concentration is kind of, you can think of it as your major. Many students also choose to choose a specialization, which is like your minor, and those you would use your elective credits to choose one of these specializations. And I think a lot of people choose them to really kind of zero in on an area that is of particular interest. And as you can see, we have a variety of options. And we also offer an MSW certificate on affordable housing and mixed income community management. Danny, do you want to share anything about your concentration?
Yeah, I wanted to add the note about how
We're coming back to Danny.
Depending on your concentration, there is many times overlap between your concentration and specialization, leaving a lot more room for electives to distribute across the entire WashU campus, not just the Brown School. So for example, my concentration is domestic SED or social and economic development, and my specialization is in policy. And there are a lot of classes that sort of double dip. And with that flexibility, I can take 9 elective credits within the law school, within the business school. And that's really cool because while the Brown School is definitely good about providing sort of that more holistic macro approach, I can also meet other law students or meet business students and sort of create this partnership over in the entire overall WashU community, which is super cool. And I know this isn't just unique to me. There are a lot of different students who sort of have that overlap within their academic track, which is really cool.
Great. Can you also talk about a course that you're particularly excited about this semester?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'm taking social, economic, and political environment with Anna Shopson. And Anna Shopson's amazing. Her background is actually in law, so her background is not in social work, but that's really cool because she provides a unique perspective as to how social workers within different settings can sort of navigate different playing fields and learn the language of how lawyers and politicians sort of approach social services. And that's really cool because you meet different students from different backgrounds in that class. It's not just those are the same mindsets, which can provide good challenging perspectives. And Anna Shopson's incredible in terms of also plugging you into people of the community. If you do have an area where you're just like, oh, I'm not sure about this, then Anna would be like, okay, well, there is someone you can meet and they can provide you a more concrete learning experience. So.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Back to your presentation. All right. And here's an overview of the MPH curriculum. We have 4 specializations, or you can choose to generalize or be a generalist, much like the individualized concentration in the MSW program. And biostatistics and epidemiology is unique in that they're offered together as one specialization. It's one of our more popular ones. There's global health, health policy analysis, and urban design, which looks at the way physical spaces affect health and access to health resources. We also have some MPH certificates, which are optional. Native American or American India, Alaska Native, adolescents to young adults, women, young families and children, and those are all the tracks within the violence and injury prevention certificate. And all of these courses, the hallmark of the MPH program is the transdisciplinary approach. And we do offer transdisciplinary problem solving, TPS courses, and an array of topics, and that's kind of one of the unique offerings of our program. And here's a list of our joint and dual degrees. The dual degree is the one we mentioned earlier between the MSW and the MPH within the Brown School. All other joint degrees are within the Brown School and another school within WashU, except for the bottom two, Pastoral Studies and Divinity, are within the Eden Seminary, which is nearby campus. So there's our list. The public health ones are on top, social work on the bottom. Lots of opportunities to explore a lot of different lenses in your approach to public health and social work. And another kind of hallmark of our programming is the getting into the community. This picture is of a course with Professor Jack Kirkland. In the summer, he brings a class for a week into East St. Louis, which is across the river in Illinois, and they live in East St. Louis and meet with community leaders and discuss issues that the community leaders are concerned about. And it's a chance to build a partnership and to learn to come to understand a problem from another person's point of view. And Tim McBride he's a health policy analysis faculty. He brings one of the transdisciplinary problem-solving courses on the Affordable Care Act to Washington, D.C. from time to time. This is a picture from 2 years ago. This in the green blazer is Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill, and each student presented a current public health policy issue, and actually was able to inform Senator McCaskill's staff. And one tidbit we like to share about this photo is that Aaron, who's kneeling on the far right of the picture, was offered a position based on his presentation, and he now works in Washington, D.C. on health policy. So that's a great example of building your networks through your coursework and being introduced into the community. And another aspect that's unique about the Brown School is the community that Brown School students create. I'm going to let Danny talk about his experiences with the Brown School community and using the resources that are available to our students.
Sure. Yeah, so So the Brown School, I like to talk about community with two different facets. So the Brown School is often called a campus within a campus. And why they call it that is because there are so many professional resources available to you within that campus. So I could easily go to Brown Hall, go upstairs to the 3rd floor, and meet Peter Coogan or meet Erica Gonzalez from the field office. And it's all those resources such as the stats lab, the communications lab in terms of supporting your writing styles and trying to get APA resources, as well as the library. It's all there, and that's really convenient. I'd say it's hard to sort of get out of the Brown School and that campus just because it's all there. And so that's really nice because all the faces that you would need to sort of support your career are probably at least 50 feet nearby. And then the other facet's more personal component, and it's such a valid question and concern about, do grad schools have fun? Grad school students have fun? Do they make friends? Because there's often this misperception that perhaps grad school students are either all already married or they already have their support system, and that may be true for a lot of grad school students, but a lot of the students come from elsewhere outside of St. Louis, Missouri, and they're all coming to meet and make a new community. And so I definitely have that valid concern, but within the 2 months that I'm here, I found that all of my colleagues have sort of found their niche and their personal support group for when on the weekends, when they need to decompress from a long week of social justice classes, like they can hang out and do sort of mindless tasks. And it's, in that ways, it's been really great, both professionally and personally.
Great. Thank you. Great, so yeah, and Danny touched on some of the resources available to our Brown students. And as I mentioned earlier, each student has 3 advisors, an academic, a faculty, and a field advisor. Our in-house library, I know that our librarians have kind of a rock star status. They're very familiar with the curricula here, and they know the types of research questions our students are asking, and they're ready to help guide you in the right direction, and maybe even help you think of directions you didn't consider.
Yeah, for sure.
We have a stats lab for help with getting some of your stats where you want them to be if you need some support with that and research projects and assignments. Communications lab helps with academic writing and presentation skills. Brown and Balance is a wellness program just for Brown students to help you kind of maintain a balance and take care of yourself. And we do have dozens of active student groups within the Brown School, lots of ways to get involved. And some lecture series and a policy institute. There's always something to do to enhance your understanding of an issue or to introduce you to a new way of thinking about an issue. There's just every day something is happening on campus. That's another opportunity to learn and get engaged. And our students do have some say in developing and creating the Brown School community. We have course evaluations that happen mid-semester, so that instead of at the end, when you would never see the benefits of your recommendations, they happen mid-semester in a lot of courses, so that so students are helping build the culture and the way courses are run. Surveys with the Dean's Forum. Students meet with the dean to just talk about whatever issues are happening at the moment. Open door policy among faculty and staff. And we have students that have petitioned to get additional course content included. They've successfully done that. And then there's a lot of opportunities for relaxing with TGIT. That's thank goodness it's Tuesday or Thursday. It's kind of like a happy hour gathering to relax a couple times a month. Grounds for Change is our cafeteria that started as a little coffee bar and is now a full service cafeteria with our cafe with meals that source from local providers and try to highlight local cooks and restaurants. And these were all these all started with student ideas. These all were started by students on campus. And so St. Louis is a dynamic city with a lot happening, and the one thing I want to mention is that you will get a free metro and bus pass as a Brown School student, which is a nice bonus. There are 2 metro stops on WashU's Danforth campus and 1 at the med school. I'm going to let Danny talk while the pictures are scrolling a little bit about your experience. I know you grew up not far from St. Louis, but it's certainly a new home for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll just be super transparent. When I was applying to different graduate programs, St. Louis, Missouri was definitely not the #1 draw. I think I probably had, if I'm being honest, negative perceptions of Missouri in general, but after exploring it, I found there's always something to do on the weekends, and I don't mean just partying, I mean different opportunities such as, I just recently went to a Maroon 5 concert because the Scott Trade Center brings in a lot of different big names. There are phenomenal parks such as Forest Park and Tower Grove Park that sort of has like community programs such as community yoga. There's a lot more to do in St. Louis than I had originally perceived, and I sort of was humbled by the fact that perhaps I need to sort of explore the community and immerse myself before I make any judgment calls. I also just learned in Community Development American Cities, which is a class that I'm taking now, that St. Louis is the third cheapest city to live in, and it's so true. I will not give you the specifics of my rent, but it is far cheaper than any other place that I've lived, and I've lived in many places in the United States. So St. Louis is definitely a vibrant community, and I challenge that if you're even on the fence about whether or not it's a location that you want to explore, that you give it a try, visit it, and see how you feel as a potential member of this community before knocking it. So I definitely have found myself that I love St. Louis. So
great. And actually, we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna ask you. So we have 400 and more practicum sites for our students, and one great factor about our practicum process is that students choose their own practicum in the community within St. Louis. And we also have national and international options as well, depending on your concentration or specialization. With so many partners and so many options, I wanted to ask Danny about his experience looking for a practicum. First, let me just clarify, most MSW students will have 2 practicum opportunities or requirements, a foundation one and a concentration one, and our MPH students have 1 required practicum.
So yeah, Laura mentioned before that I'm advanced standing, so I have my foundation practicum sort of taken care of because I did that in my bachelor's program, but that doesn't mean that advanced standing students can't take 2 different practicum sites, which is actually the avenue that I'm taking. Actually, I might be taking 3. But practicums, there are a lot of different options. There are over 400 affiliated sites, which means the Brown School already has partnerships with them, which is a lot. And they're, like Laura mentioned, it's local, it's national, it's international. But yeah, let's say there's an organization that you really gravitate towards. It's something that you can work with the Brown School to sort of get that affiliated to make that experience possible. But from my own personal practicum experience, as I mentioned before, meeting Barbara Levin, we're going to talk about career services later on in this presentation. Nicole Bergerman is amazing. She's the assistant director. She, after about another 30 minutes, gave me 3 different names that I need to meet. And because I met and grabbed coffee with David Stifler from Equifax, which is the 3rd largest consumer credit reporting agency, and they have a community development sector. I'm planning on doing a practicum with them in Atlanta, Georgia this summer. I just recently committed my spring practicum with the Missouri State Legislature, and that's all because these faculty and staff are so invested in you. And these opportunities wouldn't have been made possible unless the faculty and staff did more than just provide you theoretical knowledge. They're here to support your career. And so there are definitely so many opportunities available, but also you as a grad student have that self-initiative to sort of create your own practicum experience, which is what I'm doing. And I'm super, super excited about it. And I really owe it a lot to the Brown School for doing that.
Great. And you mentioned career services, so we're going to talk about that.
Great.
It's a great resource. Again, it's a dedicated resource just for Brown students. And you mentioned Nicole Brueggemann and Lee Kulliker are the dynamic duo in career services, and they're working really tirelessly to expand what types of jobs our students are attracted to, and which companies are attracted to our students. For example, Nicole, I met with her, I ran into her in the hall, and she was very excited because she had secured a meeting with Google, which isn't a traditional social work or public health agency or organization, but she's really expanding the definitions of social work and public health. And she's working really hard to make sure our students have a lot of options upon graduation. And so we always encourage our students to get to know career services from the beginning. Don't wait until you're ready to graduate and think you're just starting to think about a job, because they, besides just helping you find a job when you're ready, they help you get ready. And they help you know what you need to get ready and what skills you're maybe missing and where you need to build up your competencies to get the job of your dreams. So there's ongoing info sessions, workshops in all the career development type of areas like resume review sessions, one-on-one advising, which is what I'm recommending everyone do early on, and career fairs, mock interviews, salary negotiation. It's a really good one. And then as an alum of the Brown School, you would have access to their services forever. And certainly we do see some alumni from, 1 or 2 decades ago coming back and, needing a little assistance reimagining their career in social work as it changes and shifts. And some additional ways to learn. We have skill labs, which are 1-credit courses that offer a very concentrated, marketable, in-demand skills, such as data analysis, grant writing, management. So they're very popular to kind of round out people's curriculum. We talked about our 400 partners in the field. Professional development is a service that we offer to the greater St. Louis area. Professionals that need continuing education credits come and can participate in various workshops in a very large selection of topics. And our students are offered participation at a very discounted rate. So a lot of people like to take advantage of that to keep their skills current. And we also offer master's research fellowships, which is a way to kind of supplement or to enhance your cost of living expenses, or to supplement them. And those are available with our faculty in their research centers. They are listed in the spring to our admitted students, and it is up to each student to apply separately for them. And you get paid a pretty generous hourly rate for that. And then there are also campus-wide graduate assistantships and fellowships with various institutions across WashU that our students have participated in. And so we, as we've made clear, I hope, we're focused on your career, even from the minute you set foot on campus. And this is, and part of that is the practicum. And these are actually, a lot of our practicum sites actually end up hiring our students. So this is a list of places where our graduates have gotten jobs right after graduation. And so you can see it spans across sectors and in a wide array of topics, and nationally and internationally. And I know a question that a lot of people have is how to pay for their graduate study. And we offered over $6 million in scholarships in the 2016-2017 school year. Your admission application serves as your scholarship application. There's no additional essay required or letters of recommendation. It's all part of your admission application. And a majority of our students receive some level of scholarship. And we have a dedicated financial aid office, and our director will really help you take a realistic look at your financial situation and help you funding your graduate program possible. And so here's kind of a list of the ways our students fund their education. We mentioned our scholarships, and also our financial aid office does provide a list of external scholarships that our students have been successful in receiving. And then fellowship opportunities can help offset some of your expenses, and then there are federal work-study opportunities. And then of course, student loans and the ever popular out-of-pocket expenses, which are, everyone will have some of those for sure. We did have a question that was submitted ahead of this info session. Someone was wondering what they can do to stand out as a potential recipient of full ride scholarship. And we do have a very limited number of full ride scholarships. And so there's no one set of qualities we look for. Several of them are pertain to certain characteristics, and they're provided by different agencies, but through the Brown School. So I can just talk about how we evaluate applications. It's a holistic approach. We take a holistic approach. We look at all parts to assess a person's fit. Okay, we're back. There's no minimum GPA or no minimum GRE score for the MPH program. The GRE is not required for the MSW. So just that was nice. There's no one way you can look great for a full ride scholarship or a high level of scholarship. We look at GPA, letters of recommendation, your personal statement. For the MSW program, there's also an analytical essay. So just doing your best on the application is the best you can do. There's no secret formula to getting a full ride or any other level of scholarship. They're all merit-based, and so we just award them as people apply and earn them. So do you have any comments you want to share about your application process, Danny?
Sure. Valid question. And I probably wrestled a lot with how I should provide a more holistic approach to the application. And my personal 2 cents would be that your sincerity speaks more volumes than you trying to artificially market yourself. And what I mean by that is, I think trying to explore and tap into that strength of self-awareness and letting that speak for you on a personal statement or an analytical essay. What does your heart gravitate towards? I think that sort of tugs more and has a greater impact when someone is reviewing you than you trying to like pick and choose which words are more catchy, or trying to choose the most verbose language, which verbose is quite verbose. But yeah, I'd say that would be my personal form of advice when applying.
Great. Do you have any advice for people that are kind of nervous about the application process?
Yeah, I mean, it's so valid. I think you are not alone. It is a top-ranked program, and so it's kind of understandable to sort of have that nerves of whether or not you would be a good fit, but also logically, it wouldn't hurt to at least see and try and putting yourself out there and applying to see if the Brown School would be a good fit for you. So don't let your fear and nerves hold you back from at least trying to see whether or not you would be a good fit. Would be my advice.
Very good advice. And so we are going to encourage anybody who would like to learn more. I'm going to end this presentation on a slide that has my contact information and all of our website information and deadlines. Do we have additional questions? Oh, before we kind of sign up, some questions have come in and we're happy to address them. So someone asked about helpful tips for the application process. I think Danny provided a few, and we talked about that a bit. So what is the difference between the master's fellowship and the graduate assistant fellowships? Our master's fellowship within the Brown School is specifically to do research with Brown School faculty, and it's you get paid an hourly rate. It's not like a tuition remission situation. It's kind of like a special job that you qualified for, and we're handpicked by faculty, and it guarantees you 1 or 2 years of hands-on research with our faculty, and potentially getting published in work. We also have kind of informal research assistant opportunities, which is separate from that. The graduate assistantships and fellowships are within the greater WashU campus. There's several different opportunities that are open to all graduate students, so you might be competing with those for those with a PhD or a graduate from arts and sciences or engineering. They're in areas like residential life, working with undergrads, or the Gephardt Institute for Civic Engagement. There's a lot of community engagement opportunities there, if that's kind of a place where you're coming from. So I hope that answers the question. And those are more of a tuition assistance program. And someone else is asking, is there a way to send our GRE scores if we wanted to? I'm assuming for the MSW program where we don't require the GRE, there's really no place in the application to report those scores. They're not really factored into our scoring rubric, but if it's important to you, you can. There's a place to add additional information on the application, and so that's a place you can add anything that you would like for us to know additionally that's not covered. So it wouldn't hurt, but yeah. So great. Well, thank you for those questions. I'm gonna invite anyone to come visit or follow up through email with questions. I think Danny said, is a very great way to get to know the feeling of the school. You can sit in on a class, you can meet with an admissions specialist, take a tour, meet with current students, meet with faculty. You would just go to our website and find the visit page and to set that up. And certainly please be in touch. I'm gonna go back to, where's my mouse? Thank you. The page with all of my contact information, but right now I just want to thank you very much for joining us and for listening in, and thank you to Danny for being here. It's been very helpful, and I do hope to hear from you one way or another. Okay, thank you.